Trinity of truth. They call us proof. The strange, the weird, the odd, the real. Tom Zames, Divinely Sierra, and Catalyst Jones.
Trinity of truth.
Oh, wow. What is up? A day late and $5 more than we had in our pocket yesterday. So let's fucking go.
Let's go.
Woo! Happy to be here.
The summer heat is fucking crazy in Vegas. I don't know about where you guys are, but what the fuck has been up, guys? It's been I guess a week, but it feels like it's been forever for me.
Yeah, it feels like this last week went so fast for me, honestly, but it's pretty nice here. We had such horrible heat all summer long, and this last week it's kind of been easing up on us a little bit. So we're getting a little bit cooler weather. We've gotten quite a bit of rain compared to what we got all spring and summer. So it's been good.
Nice. How is the RV thing coming? Have you been making it your own, so to speak?
Yeah, that's basically all I've been doing so far is a lot of like thrift shopping and also just like making my own stuff. I made some really cool candle like lanterns yesterday, and just really cool stuff to add to it. So it's definitely coming along. I'm excited.
Heck yeah. How you been, Tom?
I've been good, man. Dude, time just flies, you know. We met, it's been 8 days now since we did that show, and it felt like it was yesterday. So every week just flies by, all of them, even the bad weeks fly by. So they've got time on fucking, times 10.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what it is? It's funny that you bring that up. And I know that you kind of heard some of the videos as I was going through and naming them, and maybe that's why you're saying that. So fuck, dude, I guess we're jumping into videos right fucking away, because I can't let you say that without segueing into this video. So, yeah, so we're not playing first.
Play first.
All right, here we go. And this will give me time
I know why people look younger now than they did a long time ago, because what if we're actually speeding up in time? Stay with me. People from like the 50s, if you look at high schoolers from like the 1950s yearbook, look maybe in their 25s, right? So, but nowadays people are looking younger. What if it's not that we're actually younger, but that time is speeding up? So back in those days, like, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 years ago, the amount of time that was considered 1 year back then is actually 9 months now. So that a 30-year-old today is actually a 1950s 27-year-old. And it doesn't go against physics if you think about CERN and the Large Hadron Collider, and then also the closer you are to the relative speed of time, the faster you age or the slower you age. I'm going to check that one out on me. But like, think about it. If we're speeding up in time, our galaxy, even our solar system is careening through space. What if we're all moving towards a black hole, and that we're losing, microseconds every minute, relative to what it used to be? So maybe it's not that, people, millennials, Gen X, boomers, are not looking younger. It's that we have lived less time relative to our ancestors or even our grandfathers and grandmothers. Yeah. Sorry, I'm all sweaty. I just got back from the gym. Let me know your thoughts.
I don't think she's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree with the black hole shit, but I mean, go ahead. I always interrupt, so go ahead. You were about to jump in there, Sierra.
No, I mean, I was just thinking the math. We were just talking about how like a minute is like 15 seconds shorter than it used to be. So in that sense, I guess a year would be shorter than a year would be before. So, the math there is kind of mathing for me, but it's interesting to think about.
Did you say 15 seconds off of every minute? That's
Yeah.
pretty fucking significant.
That's what our guest said, but I don't know if it's 15 exactly. Just know that it's a lot shorter than it was like 10 or 15 years ago.
Oh, was that Ether?
Yeah. It was.
Okay.
I couldn't remember if it was, it was Justin that said that, I think.
I think they did. I mean, maybe they did something to the actual time. 15 seconds sounds aggressive because I've actually timed it myself and kind of got 59 seconds.
45 seconds to the minute seems like a lot.
Yeah, they've definitely sped up the perception, at least, regardless of whatever they've done. I mean, the day just, every day is you wake up and then it's like all of a sudden you're eating something and then you're doing this and then it's like dinner and then you're doing this and then we'll be on here for a couple hours and then you go to bed and it's like, what the fuck's going on? So yeah, back in the day, days were long.
Yeah.
You would look at the clock, the paint would dry. You would look at it and now it's different. I think it has to do with this phone. They're doing something. They're like zapping us with this fucking phone. And, think about it. So like when you go on here and you start scrolling, they lull you into a trance, right?
Yes.
You're kind of in a trance and you can literally do this and watch videos for like what feels like 20 minutes. And it's an hour and a half, 2 hours, something fucking ridiculous. So there's something going on. I think there's a few things happening at the same time, whether they actually took time away, sped up the way it feels. Because the other thing is, back to my whole point, they don't want us to be too uncomfortable. When we get too uncomfortable, that's when we get a little squirrely, right? They don't like that either. So what better way to put us through torment every day than to speed it up and make it tolerable by speeding it up, getting you through your shitty fucking day at work, being a slave. Like, we don't want to change that. We need them to stay slaves, but we need them to like kind of enjoy it a little bit or be able to tolerate it more. How about we just fucking speed the day up? That way it goes like that. Even their shitty day goes by fast. And then they can look forward to the next shitty day. I think that's what the fuck's going on. So we don't notice we're being tortured. How about that?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm noticing the fuck out of it. Like, we're still being tortured. And I agree with you. Like, and that is definitely a possible outcome. Where the fuck is that static coming from?
I don't hear
And
it.
it's every time I talk. So it's got to be fucking me. All right. That's going to drive me crazy all episode. We'll deal with it. Static. Static. Yeah. Ether is in the building and see this right here. Been meaning to buy that book on nukes being fake that you recommended about a month ago. That is great that you bring that up because we do have a pop-in from the author tonight at some point here when we do get to that video. Okay, level playing poem is not hearing the static. It's just my speakers, I guess. Okay. I hate that with it's just like going to be my focal here this entire time. Okay, so time speeding up. Yeah, time speeding up. You were saying, what did you throw on the table? Like, give me the cliff notes.
I think that they've sped up time to get us through our shitty day better.
Oh, yeah. So we're more receptive or more receptive of the shit. Yeah, man, I like that a lot. But you said something that made me stick onto what you said, and that was like they won't allow us to get too uncomfortable. But it seems like they've been pretty. This is the fucking genius of it, you guys. Is they've been so successful at keeping us in flight or fight mode. I'd say for like damn near the last decade now, ever since freaking COVID pandemic happened, it's been fight or flight. It's like they're constantly throwing shit in our face that we shouldn't be seeing on a normal day-to-day basis because we're jumping from like cute dog videos to somebody getting blasted in the face to a different type of somebody getting blasted in the face to it, and then conspiracy to world ending to puppy dogs to nukes, and it's just like a constant, right? But let's focus on this time speeding up thing, because it's been driving me fucking crazy, and especially lately I've noticed it. And I don't know if it's like the depression that I've been in lately from moving to a new place or whatever, but it seems like it takes me forever to get my day started, like mentally. And then I'm like, what the fuck? It's 5:30. We're doing a Trinity of Truth show. And I like am getting done with my first cup of coffee now. What the hell just happened? It is almost how it feels, right? Am I tripping? Or so
Yeah.
maybe 15 seconds isn't that aggressive. Maybe they've turned it up just a little bit. Maybe something they were doing with CERN, and then they said, okay, we're going to shut this off for a little bit. And they have a startup date, and I don't know what it is, so I'm not even going to pretend like I do. But it seems like a lot has been happening since that shut off. Like the heaviness has been heavier. The escalation of the fake World War III has been escalating. Just so much shit. And now the time definitely feels like it's been speeding up. We had gravity. We lost gravity for 7 seconds last week. That was crazy. I was upside down for like fucking nuts. How did you guys do? Like, I can't believe I was landed it perfect, but it was fucking crazy.
Yeah, I did great because nothing happened. So
exactly. What's the scare this week? Oh, power grids, right? And actually they are like purposely shutting off certain parts of the country at the moment. Just, I don't know if it's to add to the scare, but I know there was a part here in Vegas that didn't have power for a couple hours today, and shit, I don't know.
They do that stuff all the time. That stuff's been happening for our entire lives, you know, and every place gets a little annoyance to it. You know, they have to sprinkle around annoyances to everybody, you know, so it doesn't necessarily mean anything more than that. But, you know, what better way, you know, how like when time flies, when you're having fun, when you're out having fun, like it goes like that, right? If you've ever done ecstasy, you know, I'm talking about 12 hours fucking goes like that. And so what better way to make it feel like we're having fun than to speed up time? It works both ways. So if you need the people, the slaves, to feel like they're having fun, you speed up time.
But you know what's
when you're having fun.
You know what's also crazy though is it should feel like it's going a little bit slower to me, because everything that I consume is in double speed anyways, so that I can consume twice as much content in a day. And it still feels like faster. I don't know. Yeah. All right. So to answer Ether in the comments, yes, I can see your Rumble comments. However, I was looking through the videos. I just don't always see the comments. Eventually we are going to get somebody to moderate and take care of that stuff for me. But we do have some celebrities in the building, so I did want to say what's up to Ether. Level Playing Poem, aka Hoaxes, is in the building. Hacking Hoaxes is in the building, and we got Conspiracy Chaos is up in here. We need a Chaos Truth, Trinity of Truth collab episode. Yeah, we're down, bro. Definitely. We'll talk offline. So we can get away from the whole time speeding up, but I brought up like what's been going on crazy, and I did say like the power grids and everything, but another thing that had everybody's attention and they were talking about last week was the fucking eclipse. And you know, there's people that were sending me shit about every time there's something like a space launch or an eclipse or something, some asshole has to fucking find it in their heart to send me some shit and be like, I bet you feel really stupid now, huh? And I'm like, actually, no, dude, these things just prove what the fuck I talk about. And so he was like, well, how the fuck do you explain an eclipse on a fucking flat earth? And I'm like, it's actually pretty easy, because if you got the fucking moon going like this, and then the sun is going like this, and you think about it, all you got to really do is add like a fancy name to the sun that would be like a horse racing name, like Morning Sun Star. And then you got like the Evening Moon Galloper, right? And they're going, and you picture, or it would be this way, and you picture how it's going. And then you say you got Morning Moon Galloper comes out. Oh no, we got Rising Sun Star coming fast. He's coming up quick. He's coming up quick. They're side by side. They're neck and neck. Eclipse motherfucker right there. And then Sun Star gains the lead and he pulls away. He's going to take it. He takes it. He wins. Sun Star wins the race. That's how the fuck that shit works. Or maybe it's like this.
You just get a piece of paper or card. And you get a kitchen colander, and you hold the colander up to cast the shadow onto the piece of paper, and you can see all those little circular holes there. They're all kind of mini images of the sun, mini pinhole camera images of the sun. And as the eclipse progresses, those little circles will turn into crescents. So that's a really nice way of viewing it.
Maybe.
Kat, you have a future in narration for horse races there.
Oh, I practiced when I was taking a poop earlier, so I don't know. What do you guys think? How would you explain the eclipse? I kind of like both perspectives, but I really think that it's the horse race. Like it moves like hands on a clock, and eventually those hands on a clock are going to both be pointing at the same number, and one is going faster than the other. And it's pretty fucking easily explained, especially when they are local to us and the same exact fucking size. You know what's harder to explain? How these motherfuckers can be so fucking far away from each other, and yet in our perspective, they're always exactly the fucking same size and line up the way that they line up, and yet we're spinning out of control and we only see one side of the fucking moon. What else can we talk about with your guys' fucking cartoon ball that you want to cling on to so badly? Anyone?
You can see through the moon, for starters. You can see right through it. That's easy. That doesn't require anything more than, looking at it through a telescope. There's videos online. So are they saying the sun went behind the moon, which would have exploded fucking light through the fucking moon? But I think it's, long story short, it's possibly a black sun, like Ether's saying here, a celestial body that we don't know about that's out there and whatnot. But honestly, I'm starting to lean towards, like, all they have to do is literally like take their thumb and, like, take like a circle and move it across the screen like that, like a visual aid, like old school. That's how fucking stupid we're all being with this shit, that they could literally take their fucking thumb and go like that, and people just be like, that's it. That, like, they won't get it. Like, they know we're, like, as a collective, we're really fucking stupid. And they're also, like, trying to gauge how fucking stupid are these guys, and we keep failing these tests. So, like, it could be a black sun, right? Could easily be a thumb right across it, for real. Like, I'm not joking. Like, that's how retarded a lot of this shit is.
Yeah, I like right here, Crow Code. Are you Crow 777 by any chance? That would be dope. Says moon is a satellite. I think it's inorganic. Sataloon, it would be. I mean,
totally inorganic.
Totally inorganic. You think so?
100%. I'm totally clear on that.
So you think man-made? Because there was, and I can't remember his name, but there was somebody who, before we allegedly went to the moon, was out there saying that we're never going to be able to land on the moon because he believes it's a plasma or a gas of some sort. And I thought that was a good explanation, it being a plasma. And then I watched, I can't remember that long ass documentary, but it was like the first time that I had seen them reference the moon as a projection mirrored image of the Earth, as something that was used as a map to navigate. And And I remember being blown away by that. And I'm like, it is a projection. And so what is organic? That's the question, Tom.
If you ask me, I think everything inside the dome is inorganic.
Is the dome itself inorganic?
Possibly. I'm not
so
100%
like
honest.
so
But
like what
it
so
could be fake. The sun is fake too. I mean, it's
so
obvious.
then what we know as of organic then would be the dirt, the trees, like things that grow from these inorganic things.
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe that was all planted. Like, say you had a science project and you were to create a little dome, right? Like right now, and you'd make a little dome and you'd have rivers and you pour water in and you know, you'd make it rain. Oh, it's a little brown over here. Here's get some rain over here. And you have like equilibrium and there's a program running of homeostasis and the animals. And it's a unbelievably intelligent design, right? It could be that. I'm not saying it's that, but why couldn't it be that? It could easily be that. And there could be a real one outside. This could be a replica. It could be so many things. And, you know, it's just not what we've been told. We've been told that, like, you know, we don't even know if God, the God, right, the one God, the true God, even created this realm that we're in. We don't know that. We've been told that. And the fact that we've been told that makes me think it's not.
Right. And I totally get what you're saying. And I agree with you almost 1000%. But just for the argument's sake of discussion, if we're going to consider everything inside of the dome as we have to be able to distinguish when we're talking, right? Because I do agree with you, like everything is not organic. Like if nothing is solid and everything is built off of wave frequency and energy, right? Then I get what you're saying, but this whole matrix is created. So if we are in a matrix, then essentially everything apart inside of that matrix is not organic. But is it organic to the matrix is what I'm saying.
Maybe.
Did that question even fucking make sense? Let's go to the chat here. And I do have some stuff that I want to play about energy frequencies that kind of goes hand in hand with that. But before I do that, let's get into the chats and see what's going on over there. We got Level Playing Poem is in here. She said vibes of the cosmos. It's got all the hidden areas in the map. Yes, we're talking about the moon on Crow Code. It's Nate from Originals of Australia. Let's go. 1 light year is 6 million or 6 trillion miles times 433 light years is how far away Polaris North Star is supposed to be. Maybe I'm wrong. 8 just checked. It was Ketu, the south node, this last eclipse, and it was total. I think it's from the light outside. Damn it, they're moving on me and it's hard to read. Okay, we'll come back to these. You guys can see them. I'll post that last one on there. So there's a guy that posts a lot of interesting shit and in this group chat that I'm in on Telegram, and his name is just ... but he posted this because he was on the NASA website and zoomed in. I don't know if he did this, but this is a screen recording of somebody's phone zooming in on an image we get from NASA claiming to be Mars. And I think this is fucking great. We found life on Mars. At least this guy did. Nice. So we have ground squirrels on Mars. Looked an awful lot like the Nevada or Arizona desert, but hey, apparently they got the same type of wilderness that we have. You guys saw that, right? It was a ground squirrel.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
That was awesome. Oh, you seen it before? Maybe that guy is not the originator then.
I don't know.
Isn't like New Zealand that like a mountainside or like a hillside in New Zealand is what they always show us as Mars? Isn't that it? Something like that.
I thought it was somewhere in Arizona. It's probably multiple places, right? Once we get hip to one place, they start showing us pictures from another place that has red dirt.
I mean, as you can see, they've been fooling us, right, with these little tricks for so long that once you see them, they're like silly tricks, right? They're not really doing anything extravagant. Like they're whatever they're doing is intelligent, highly, but like they're doing it in a way so we can see it. Like they want us to see it. Like,
no, we have pattern recognition too. Like I was thinking about that today with the Indiana thing that's happening. You know, they're saying that people were shooting at the NIPSCO workers that are trying to put the power back on. And then people in the comments are like, oh yeah, they did that in Texas a few years back. They were shooting at the workers trying to get the power back on. It's like the pattern recognition is there to see that the story has been told before, but they're not realizing that they're just recycled stories. You know, like no one's actually out shooting at these people these are just, you know, stories that they're telling us, storylines, and they get recycled. They don't really come up with anything new. They can't really come up with anything new. They can't create. They don't have that ability. So just recycling these same stories, recycling characters. They just, yeah, once you see it, it's just that repeated pattern that they pull.
Well,
totally.
This guy apparently cracked the fucking entire code. So let's listen to what he has to say. And then I wanted to play. Well, we'll listen to what this guy have to say, and then we'll get into what I want to play.
I'm serious. I cracked the code. I beat the deceiver at his own game, and history isn't just fake and gay. It's AI and fallen angel technology, not the good fat. And mathematically, like, I'm not telling you my subjective interpretation. I am telling you the mathematical truth of the situation, that every single alphabet you know of is connected to the same system. The same system generated every single language that we know of. And the best way to think of this is sometime before our parents, before our grandparents, ChatGPT was captured. And we said, hey, for these people that live over here, give me the best way to capture and control them and enslave them. And it prints out the Bible. It's read wrong, but the patterns are in there in such a manner that if you evolve, you can move past it. See, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but these are all interlocking wheels of alphabets to form a radial. And you have to have a distinction. You're going to want me to mathematically prove it, but we're working on bad math. You have to correct your math. And to do that is going to take patience in taking what I'm saying seriously, but you won't take what I'm saying seriously until I prove it, but I can't prove it within your system. That's how it's designed. Because if you're an a-hole, you don't know that the A and the hole are the same thing, part of the same body that forms a fractal system of both equality and inequalities. And see, here's the short of the long. I rebuilt the code. And the code is a way to build languages geometrically. And they've given us this transliteration explanation to break the subconscious and conscious divide behind the meanings and jumble everything up. We have transliteration, but really there's a very T1 time, T0 2. Like the O was introduced. It's a whole different thing, and I don't really know how to express it, but it's undeniable. So I'm just going to keep building the body of evidence and let it speak for itself. But seriously, like, we have the power to end all war right now. Like, our system's been wrong since Hebrew, and most of it, I think, has been fabricated and or altered by an AI system and the mathematical pattern. It's like telling the computer, you know, these guys are idiots that ran it. You know, they told it to make a random number generator, make a random letter generator, but computers don't know random. So it's there. You just wouldn't know the broadside of a barn if it, you know what I mean? Like, you can only lead a horse, whatever. The doggy dog.
All right. So Ether said that dude is a plant. He may be.
Look like a plant. He does look like an actor to me, that guy.
Yeah, but
everything he said was true for the most part, but he does look like an actor to me. So.
Okay, I'm glad you said that, Tom, because we cannot. I mean, I beat this horse to death. Is we cannot throw the baby out with the bathwater. Is we got to We got to take shit that we like that these people say, because most of them are fucking gatekeepers. So they're going to tell us a lot of truth mixed in with the most important, mixed without the most important part that we do need to know. So it's up to us to distinguish the good puzzle pieces that actually fit and the ones that we need to discard.
I never throw it out, but you know, most people don't know how to do it. So they see that and they send me, my friends are posting these jack-offs videos, like these people, instead of sharing my videos, they're posting these fucking jack-offs videos because they think what they're saying is true. So, you know, we got a ways to go. I'm not going to stop talking about it. So,
well, no, isn't that fucking annoying though, when you have like people that you know in your personal life and they're watching people that are so-called conspiracy theorists, and they talk to people that are so-called conspiracy theorists, and you're like, dude, the person that you're sharing that video from got that idea from me. Like, what the fuck are you doing listening to these people for?
Yeah, they're copying our shit.
Yes.
Our shit's being copied. Yeah, that's what they do. They're using our shit. No,
it's funny because Sam was in a live not that long ago, and he was talking about, this was before the whole Candace Owens and whatever the dude's name is that they paid to pay her to have that debate. He was like, you know, like talking about how Candace is absolutely a plant and he doesn't trust her background, and the fact that you still can't throw out what she's saying. And I said, yeah, because all she's doing is saying everything that was said on Tinfoil Hat 3 years ago, but she's saying it now. And now all of a sudden it's coming from her. So it's new, it's brave, it's edgy, and conspiracy driven. And so, and he was like, yeah, that's 100% right. Like, these people watch our shadow banned shows that were saying the same shit. And because they have this platform, they're allowed to say certain things. And I'll let this guy explain it.
Holy shit. It just clicked with me. I used to think it's weird that the people who own these platforms pay content creators like me and all these other people through content monetization to spread the truth and expose them. So the people we're exposing are paying us to expose them. Why is that? Why would they allow that when a year ago you couldn't do that? They still own it's the same people at the top that still own it. Why are they allowing us to do it now? Well, it makes sense. And I was one of the first people to actually organize and do protests and bring people together to spread truth and spread awareness and all these things, and try to put a plan of action together in order for us to try and do something in the right direction. But nobody was showing up in person. They were all showing up on here, but not in person. Here's why. They allow us to talk about this stuff and push these messages out, and they're actually pushing them to go viral to give everyday citizens an outlet to express themselves. So they won't show up in person, because once you like, comment, share, you feel like you're doing something. Well, you're not. As soon as you put your phone down, it's back to real life. That's what it is. That has to be it, because it didn't make sense. I would throw a protest and 100 people would show up. But hundreds of thousands literally would say that they would show up. Or I would have 4, 5, 6 million views on a video and people engaging, pissed off and saying they want to do something. Let's ride at dawn. But nobody would show up in person. It makes sense now. That's why they're allowing us to express ourselves on here.
I think that's a damn good explanation. What do you think? Anyone?
Go ahead, Sierra. I'm very opinionated about this. I want to hear what you.
Okay, Tom. No. Take it away. You already have your thought formed, so go nuts.
Once you rise to a certain level of consciousness, you realize that protests are so fucking stupid. It's literally the stupidest fucking thing that you could possibly do. So I agree with Ether. I think this guy's a plant. He looks like a plant too. You know, guys, there's not a lot of real ones out there, guys. There's really not. Like, there's really not. You know, you don't want to protest. They don't work. They're organized. They're planned out. They're psyops. You don't want to take part in one. You don't want to be in one, even if it's for a good cause. It is, it's dumb. It's like uneducated. It's fucking uneducated. I'm going to say it like that. So, you know, this guy's just the fact that he doesn't realize that makes me not even want to listen to fucking anything this guy's got to say. Forget about it. That's where I'm at.
Forget about it.
Yeah. Throw him in the trash.
I, on the other hand, understand where he's coming from, because I felt like a useful idiot so many fucking times where I thought I was pushing something and I got behind it and I felt so fucking determined and like I felt it was the truth. And then I'm fooled, right? So I'm just used as a useful idiot to push this shit. And, you know, like I've often thought, like, how in the fuck do I get some of these big ass fucking names that I get? You know, it's like, is it possible that like I am being watched and they're placing these people? Like, are you two even fucking real? Like, is all of this shit just like for me? Like, am I in some pod somewhere and just this program is fucking running to see how long it's going to take before I figure out that I'm in a fucking pod and that none of this is even fucking real? None of you are real?
I've had a lot of thoughts like that, Kat, so you're not alone in it. My mind goes there too.
Yeah, it's kind of exactly the way it is.
Well, I think there are certain people on here that are on here in this realm, because we do talk about the collective consciousness and we do talk about, I mean, when you have a connection with somebody that feels so real, like it's like that person is a good soul and you walk away like you had a good connection with that person. And then there's people that you feel around you that just don't have a feel to them, you know? And I think that I mean, I do get lost in that sometimes. Like, am I the only actual fucking conscious thing in this fucking thing that I'm in? Or is there a conscious, you know, like, or a collectiveness, and we're all here trying to figure it out together. And then we find each other and we start a show called Trinity of Truth so that we can keep finding more real souls in this thing. But and in this real soul thing and, you know, religion and spirituality and everything, like I find things throughout my life that whether they're real or not, they make me feel alive. Right. And so there are things, well, I think this is very interesting. And because I'm not able to capture my point and I'm actually going way far away from it, I'm going to go ahead and play this video.
Like all living things, this little dog has a sizable radiant field, even when he sits quietly. Notice now, as he greets his master, the obvious love and affection between them increases the dynamic radiation from their bodies, even the dog's tail and the man's head. No wonder so many people have pets who give them pleasure and provide a vital field of energy to interact with. Wherever there is motion in the universe, there is increased flow in the field that humans interact with. See the explosive activity from the waves and from his body. Also, the electromagnetic field of the body is negatively charged or ionized, as are waves or tumbling water, which further expands and heightens his field, giving a physical exuberance and emotional excitement. No wonder that a day at the beach is so exhilarating and vitalizing. We all love a babbling brook and the freshness of outdoor vegetation and mountains. Most of us believe that it is relaxation and beauty which refreshes us. From our research, we have discovered that living plants and rarefied atmosphere provide a richer field of negative ions, which heightens and replenishes our own energy field. Notice that the man's field becomes light in color and high in frequency. It sparkles and radiates some distance from his body.
So, fun fact about this is this was a documentary from the 80s. And it was supposed, I got like the cliff notes from it. And it's showing bioenergy fields, human auras recorded in a laboratory. The aura has been captured with specialized cameras and film, noting how it changes based on feeling states, physical conditions, and interaction with energy radiation from subjects and objects and living things. Based on ancient Chinese medicine and current bioenergy research. Each chakra center is hardwired via meridians, blah, 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 blah. But I just thought that was cool. This is from the fucking 80s. And they were like, I don't know if that was just like some bullshit camera special effects or if they were legitimately picking up some sort of an aura. But, you know, like, since we've talked about this before, since they've changed from analog to digital, that some of these like Bigfoot and some of these cryptids and shit are not able to be picked up on our newer technology, and or the fucking, like when we had on Ether and we were talking about the clown Nephilim and shit, the liquid fucking clowns. And right. So this was made back in the 80s. This is crazy. Like, we had documentaries back in the fucking 80s like this, dude. What the fuck happened? Like,
I mean, this information's been around, you know, it's just in different forms and not as well known, you know? So, you know, whether that's like some kind of, you know, graphics that they used, to me, what they showed and displayed in that video, I think is probably exactly what it looks like, even if that wasn't real. So as far as I'm concerned, you know, that makes sense to me, that's what we look like. And, you know, the way we emanate looks, and we have this aura. I mean, people see auras. There's people out there that see auras. So, you know, we should ask them, is this what it looks like? Anyways, Sierra, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we're made up of energy, everything, you know, we're electric. So it would make sense to me that there is a camera out there that could pick up those pulses that we radiate, and, you know, and emotions are energy in motion. So I can feel energy emitting from me if I'm experiencing a really heightened state of emotion. So I think it would make sense that something would be able to pick that up, because it is just that energy that's emanating from our bodies. So I had an aura photo done in Sedona last year, and the way they explained it to me, they showed me that I had like this white center around my heart, and just everything that they explained to me, it totally resonated and made sense. And at first I was a little bit skeptical, because, you know, they could do anything. They could say anything, put up those colors or whatever. But I think that there is a technology, and I think that the intention behind the technology is really important too, with anything else. Because if you have people that are just scamming others, then obviously those things are false. But if you have people that are really trying to like intentionally look at these things, I think that they will be shown them.
I like it. So I'm gonna switch gears here for a minute, and we're gonna jump into what the title of this episode actually is, and that is nukes are a hoax. And we do have a special guest for you guys. So while I'm playing this video, Tam, if you are watching, if you want to go ahead and click on that link and jump backstage with us, and I'll bring you in after we play this video. And did I even upload this video? See, that's the thing. Did I even upload this fucking video?
Real quick, Nate Crow. That's Crow Code. All right. I thought that was you, Nate. Good to see you. In fact, we got to get Nate on the show. You guys will love Nate. I know him as Nate Lion. He likes to go by Nate Crow as well. He likes the crow and the lion, so he mixes it up. But we got to get him on the show.
Yeah, heck yeah. What is up, Tam? I accidentally clicked bring you on. I'm uploading the video right now. The funny thing is I was going to upload that one last, so it didn't even make it. But yes, everybody, this is my good friend Tam, aka Hacking Hoaxes, aka you know her in the comment section as Level Playing Poem. She is the author of some of my favorite books. She is also one of the people behind Charismatic Truth Store, and she has honestly been like one of my biggest supporters throughout the entirety of White Rabbit. And it's just awesome to get you to be able to jump on here and talk about this. So while that video is uploading, Tam, why don't you introduce yourself to us?
Oh my gosh, this is awesome, Kat. We've come a long way. I've come a long way with you. I've admired you and followed you for, it's been years, 4 years now? Oh my goodness. He's just one of my favorites. And to just real quick, Sierra it is so cool to get to meet you. Tom, it is awesome to get to meet you guys. This is fun being on this side now instead of in the chat, just like, watching and playing. But the RV stuff, I hope you have a blast. We did that and we just had such a good time. And then Tom, with your, you did about parking, be ungovernable.
Yeah.
And you had a parking thing and you're just like, you know what? These rules are ridiculous. They're stupid. It's not causing loss, injury, or harm. So it's not a crime. And I'm going to live my life. I love it.
Yeah.
No crime, baby. That's right. I can tell by the way you said it.
Tam, before we get into the video of nukes being a hoax and everything, I just noticed that beautiful poster that is almost covered up, Happus, and it is a very, very cool book. You want to tell us about that before I play this video?
Oh, that's so nice. Richard Lopez and I wrote a book about children from the outer space, the lands beyond, outer space, extraterrestrials. And they come, kind of a backward story, they come to the inner space. And they can't believe that people think that the earth is spinning, that the water sticks to a ball, all that gravity, everything. And it's just fun seeing from their perspective just how silly it is what we've been taught and what we're supposed to believe and, all that. So it's kind of fun for children. So it's not as, shoving it down your throat. It's more an innocent approach to, do you really think that? Why do you think that? What makes you think? So it's kind of a fun, less confrontational way of of doing it. Victoria Hibbler, Sean Hibbler's wife, is the one who did all the illustrations. And you're talking about the Charismatic True Store, and that's what Catalyst has designed so many shirts. And I just got to do a shameless plug, but I've got all of his shirts. White Rabbit, awesome. I've got his hats. I got everything. So I'm a big Catalyst fan. And I met Anna, just prayers out to Anna. She had to move. She's usually in the chat, and that's how I met her. But they had a fire 17 miles away, and they had to evacuate. So thoughts and prayers with her.
Oh, yes, definitely thoughts and prayers. The chat is empty without you. I hope that you get to listen to this later when you do have a chance, and we pray that you are safe.
Yeah.
So we do love you, and we send love your way. So, no, Tam, I think it's awesome. They've been labeling things as science fiction in our movies and our books and everything. So why not we do the same thing and be like, hey, I wrote this cool little science fiction book. And I wrote this science fiction children's book, and I did want to give a shout out to Victoria Hibbler, because she also has an amazing children's book. And it is called The Lizard Queen.
Called the Reptilian Queen.
The Reptilian Queen. And I'm looking around and I don't have my copy next to me to show you guys.
She's got lots of children's books, but there's one with Catalyst in it.
Oh my gosh.
Let me see. I'll get that one. But Victoria's done an amazing job. But let me get this one yet.
There's a Catalyst episode.
I'm a character that I make one of the scenes.
Nice. You have a book, Sierra, don't you?
Yeah, I have that book. Yeah, I love it.
Oh, I love Victoria. And she's a new mom. She's a new mom. So
yes, she is. Congratulations. And Sean is doing so much big stuff too. World War debate and all. I just saw him on. I used to have a crush on this girl that used to be on Sons of Anarchy, and she was also on what is the gangster show? The mobster show, the Sopranos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she was on that show as well, and. I'm scrolling through and I see Hibbler and I was like, oh, cool. Hibbler's on a new show I haven't seen yet. And then it's her. And I was like, oh my God, I have done naughty things to myself thinking about that girl. That is fucking crazy that he was on her show.
Did you tell him that?
Yeah, of course. I was like, no.
What did he say?
No filter.
He told me an easy way to get a hold of her. It's kind of like a thing. We don't really give out certain people's information. It's like if one of us get on a big time show, it's like if we're allowed to give out that person's contact information, we usually do. But it's kind of like a don't ask type of thing. Don't be like, hey man, can you help me get, it's like, we don't really do that with each other. So I did say, hey, how the fuck did you do that? And he was like, she has this one thing, you can go through here and she'll probably see your message. And I was like, dope, thank you. Update, she has not seen my message. So
there's the
oh yeah, I'm right next to Sean, and Tripley is awesome. Sam Tripley's right behind me too.
That is hilarious. Love it.
Yeah, yay Victoria, we love you, Victoria.
Yeah,
so great books. Go check those out. She also has the story time, all animated and narrated by our friend Jade. You can watch those on YouTube. So go check those out. If you guys are watching this live, I'll try to get those links in here afterwards. And I say try because I probably won't remember to come back and add those links. But please go just search Victoria Hibbler and you'll definitely see what she's been doing and awesome stuff. So Tam, one of the things that I said from the beginning that you were like, this guy is insane. He just said this, and maybe not insane, but one of the insane things that I said that people will be like, this guy's fucking insane, but you actually trusted where I'm coming from and looked into it for yourself, was nukes being a hoax. And the book that I plugged is all the time on here is your book, is an amazing book, and I've suggested it to so many people, and you know it's ended up in the hands of some of the coolest content creators as well. And nukes being a hoax is a thing now. It's like a thing now. It's going around. Yeah, I made that book too. Thank you very much.
It's dedicated to Catalyst because he had running along the bottom of the scroll, nukes are a hoax, and it's like, I mean, just that was one of the hardest things to wrap my mind around, because we grow up in fear of this. I mean, paralyzing fear. For me, growing up, it was awful. And they call it, what is it called? Fear-induced passivity. And it truly is, because they say, oh, this is radioactive, so don't go past this line. Okay. Okay. Because it sounds so, this invisible poison or something is so scary. And it's not. It's not.
And so with your background too, it must have been even harder, because you actually come from a background where you worked with chemical warfare, right?
I started in the fire department, volunteer EMS, and I took the hazmat classes and started doing terrorism training courses and exercises. It was the Nunn-Lugar Dominici. We did 120 most populated cities in the United States. And we did tabletop chemical, tabletop biological terrorism exercises. We did full-scale functional exercises, roll out all the equipment, and we do false positives for them. They were using all the detection and monitoring equipment, full dress out. They do decontamination, the whole lines, everything. It was just a real practice, boots on the ground doing it. It was awesome. And so I did that. I was appointed to the NFPA, National Fire Protection Association hazmat committee. And I got to write some of the codes and standards for response to terrorism incidents. And then I got a job at Department of Justice, and they actually created the position for me as curriculum coordinator for all the terrorism training for the responders in the entire country: fire, EMS, law enforcement, hazmat, public health, public works, public safety, all that. And so I was responsible for the quality control, technical accuracy. So this was my baby, we had a week-long courses at Dugway for biological warfare agents, at Center for Domestic Preparedness in Anniston, Alabama for live agent, chemical warfare agent training. And we'd use M8, M9, 256 kits. We'd actually do swabs and get positives, and then it's non-persistent. So a minute later, 5, 10, 15 minutes later, you'd swab again with the M9 paper, M8 paper, you're not going to get a reading. It's gone. So all these people who think, oh, nerve gas, which is not, that's like fingernails on a chalkboard, nerve gas. It's not a gas, it's a liquid. And it's like a viscous, like an oil type thickness of I love this. Thank you, Catalyst. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no doubt. Isn't the gas you're describing? Oh, I'm thinking of mustard gas. That's like when
Still not a gas. Lewisite, blister agent. Yep. It's still a thick liquid and it's hard to disperse. You know, they just think, oh, you spray it. And it's like, no. It's a thick, oily liquid and burns. And that's what, when you compare the blister agent, vesicant, Lewisite, something like that, those agents, blister agents, compare it to what they saw in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It's a lot more, looks a lot more realistic than radiation, like it would be a quick burst and it would be like a sunburn and you'd get like it red and it would be a sunburn. You're not going to get the sloughing skin and the blistering and the, all that. So it's that's another good one.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and play this clip. It's only 1 minute and 47 seconds long, so I'm sure he's going to leave out a lot. And Ether, you can go ahead and pre-comment that this guy is a plant, because this guy is a plant. And here we go.
And then we could be looking at nuclear war and civilizational collapse. And that's World War III for sure.
They don't have nukes. Nukes are fake. I've covered that many times. There's no nukes. If nukes were real, they would have used them a long time ago. All they did was they firebomb places like they're doing to Iran right now, and they just dropped like 1,000 bombs on their place, just like they did in Japan.
On the night of the 9th of March, the Americans dropped 1,700 tons of incendiary bombs. Some 16 square miles of Tokyo were destroyed.
And they just level it, kind of like Gaza. That's kind of what they did too. There's no nukes. What they do is they take 1 million pounds of TNT, they put it out into the middle of the desert, they explode it, they show a mushroom cloud, because it's an explosion, and then they say that was the nuke. And they say, put on your glasses, just like those DuPont Eclipse glasses. Put on your glasses, because that explosion's going to be pretty big. That's it. There's no nukes. I hate to say it. There's no nukes. And all they do is they pull that whole thing. Every time they want to invade a country, they're like, we're going to nuke them. With what? With your invisible nukes. Otherwise, they would have did it already. Think about it. It would have been used. If you could just level an entire country in 1 second, they would do it. The thing is what we live in is like the Wizard of Oz, okay? We live in the Wizard of Oz. And in the Wizard of Oz, you have this man hiding behind this thing, pretending to be this thing that he's allegedly is. But in reality, they're not any of that. They have no access to any of that. Same with germs and bioweapons and lab leaks. That's all nonsense. There's no germs or viruses or anything that are jumping all over to come get you. There's no bioweapons and lab leaks and any of that. It's fear.
I don't know if I agree with no bioweapons, but I do 100% agree with it's all fear. But Tam,
I can say one thing on the bioweapons is when they're talking about anthrax and how, do you remember when, was it Tom Daschle? They got those envelopes and they said that there was aerosolized, dispersed. It is so hard to aerosolize them. Static electricity, you've got to get them, they have to be 3 to 5 microns. Either if they're too big, your own internal system is going to stop it. If they're too little, they'll just go in and then just be expelled again. So it's so difficult to weaponize them. So it's as the more you learn, the more you realize this is just, a lot of it is just lies, just horrible lies.
Yes. And it's all fear-based mind control, just like organized religion, just like everything else, just like your normal television, your news. And this is what they use, obviously, is to push all these things onto you, to embed them into you so that you don't even think about, is this true or not? It's just embedded in there. It's like what Tam said. It's just like, we've been told this our entire lives. Why would it not be true? This is just like, hey, you wake up every morning almost, it's like, you got to wake up, you got to go pee, you got to eat. It's like, and there's nukes, by the way. So
that whole duck and cover thing. I mean, how psychologically damaging was that to an entire generation? It's like, oh, you're going to die. So get under a desk and that'll save you.
Oh, that was the most retarded thing too. Is like, just in case we hear the nuclear sirens go off, everybody get underneath your desk. Right. I'd rather just stand behind the camera because that seems like to be the safest fucking place. And I love this because I said this dude is a plant right out the gate, and Ether was like, "Wait, this dude's a plant?" I like. So I'm just assuming that that you were going to say that because this guy is literally everywhere. I cannot turn on a feed without seeing this guy in him, and as soon as that happens, it's either he's going to get tapped or he was already tapped, and that's why he's in your feed. Tom, you're smiling an awful lot without saying anything, bro.
Yeah, I had something good to say, but I forgot. But yeah, I do like that guy, but I think he probably is a plant. I think I saw something recently, and I was like, oh. But, what can you do, right, with these fucking plants? I forget what the fuck to say. Oh, Nate Crow. Yeah, dude, we'll get you on. I shouted you out earlier, bro. We'll get you on, brother.
Yeah, definitely. I responded to that. Safest place these days is indeed on your knees or under someone's desk. Yes.
Oh, it's always an invisible enemy.
Yes.
It's always invisible, literally invisible. And it's just, we're told it's this and that, and this is this, and they can do this. It's like everything that we've been told is bullshit. So like if we were told it, I was like, wait, where did we learn that? Oh, we were told it. It's bullshit. It's a simple formula. So
yes, it's another
spoiler alert. Sorry, Kat. The uranium and plutonium are alpha emitters. You can stop alpha particles with paper. You can stop it with your skin. It's not going to be invasive. So unless you drink it, swallow it, breathe it in, whatever. But it's just, there's so many things like that I've learned that it's like, oh, it just takes away all the fear.
So there was actually a famous scientist who would go around swallowing uranium, right?
Galen Windsor, yes, and he started the beginning. He helped design. He helped when they decommission any of the nuclear power plants. He helped design them. He helped run them. He was a safety officer. He was the head of safety, but he was in charge. So no one's going to question him. And he would go swimming in the pool, in the contaminated pool. And he was healthy. He lived to 80, 82 or something like that. He did not have any cancer. He was never treated for anything like that. He was healthy, and he toured for 2 years, went to, I think, 77 different cities. And he would drink the plutonium water. He would test little Geiger counters with the chattering, and he would test it, and he would put it behind his back, and all of a sudden the sound would go away, which means just his body was blocking it. So this, like you said, Tom, the scary, invisible, permeating, get through anything, it's going to irradiate you and stuff like that. And it's like, nope. They said a bottle of no-dose is so much more dangerous than things.
So Tam, I'm so glad that you decided to write this book. And that's why I shouted out so much, because there's like so many times when I'll say nukes are a hoax, you don't have to worry about it. And then people will rattle off their questions, right? And now I have something tangible. I could be like, look, right here, blah, 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 blah. But I want to know, like, when you saw that scrolling and you were like, Catalyst is saying there's no such thing as nukes, what was your smoking gun when you started to look into it?
I think one of the biggest was, this is a little kind of down, a little bit down the rabbit hole, but one of the most convincing to me was that uranium was supposed to be the fuel that was used in Little Boy. And that was in Hiroshima. Little Boy, Fat Man, Enola Gay.
These are the names that they gave these supposed nukes that went off.
Oh my God, isn't that awful?
Yeah, they fuck with us like that.
Right, isn't that horrible?
They've got a sense of humor.
I guess. I don't think it's funny.
They do. They really do. I hate to say it. Yeah, they do a lot of shit like that. It's all phallic symbols. It's all dicks slapping you in the face. Right. It's all of that. Yeah.
But so uranium, it's a metal, and you need gas formation for a rapid for a buildup of pressure, for a release, for an explosion. There's no gas in a metal piece of uranium, these little pellets. And so first of all, it's not going to explode. Second of all, they did not find any uranium in Hiroshima. They found plutonium. Plutonium was supposed to be in Little Boy Fat Man that was in Nagasaki. Plutonium is a man-made product. It only comes from nuclear reactors. It's a byproduct. That's it. It doesn't, it's, that's it. So for them to find plutonium in Hiroshima when they were supposed to use uranium as the fuel, that to me blew it out of the water right there, because they had to plant the plutonium to get readings, but it was the wrong. They
planted the wrong thing to get their readings from. So my question is this too, then you got like super into the science of it and everything. And then, so if that wasn't enough, if you had seen that and you were like, well, maybe they just didn't document this correctly, you know, hydrogen, whatever, it's still a nuke, you know, it doesn't matter. And you move on from that. What makes this scientifically and physically impossible?
Okay, it takes just a second, but stick with me. Atoms, you got atoms supposedly. And this is another thing. It's like defending the globe. It's so frustrating because I'm not defending what they're doing. I'm trying to explain.
You're using their science to explain what we're trying to get through. And I get it. Right. It's fine. We have to.
Okay, so if you have an atom and then they fire these free, fast neutrons to supposedly intercept the atom, get to the center of the atom, find the nucleus, split the nucleus, that sends out 2, 3, however many more little fast free neutrons. Those go and find more uranium-235 atoms. It has to be that atom. Then they go find the nucleus, split those, they send 2, that starts the chain reaction. You need 50 to 80 generations of that to happen. And they make it sound like it's so easy. They make it sound like that's the assumption. That's just what happens. They have the free neutrons. They go find the nucleus of the other atom. They split and they send off. Fission is division. It is so hard. So they're saying catalyst. Okay, say on the 50-yard line of a football stadium. So on the 50-yard line of the field, you've got a marble, and then you go back all the way back to the parking lot. That's the entire atom. And then the little marble would be the nucleus. So first, this little neutron it has no electrical charge. It's not going to be attracted or repelled to this neutron, to the nucleus. The neutron is trying to find the center of the atom, which is so tiny. Some say 20,000 times smaller, some say 100,000, which means they don't know. You know, there's a big difference. So, so then, see, this neutron, it has so many different choices. Either it can just miss the nucleus. The chances are it's like a teacup in the middle of a town. For this neutron to find that's the first challenge. It's got to find it. Second of all, if it does find it, it can pass by. Or if it does and it hits it, it can bounce off. It's called scatter. There's inelastic and there's elastic scatter. Boom. And it'll either transfer energy or not, but it's like a ping pong ball hitting a bowling ball, and it's just going to bounce off. So there's another chance. So if you've got all these, so hard for it to even find a nucleus. So if this neutron does find it and then it'll split, it can produce heat. Heat can do a meltdown. It's not going to explode. There's no gas. There's no gas formation. There's nothing to build pressure to release, to explode, for a blast over pressure, for anything. So it's metal. If you hit, it splits, it releases some heat, and it's not, they come up with these crazy things. So for each neutron, it has to go through that entire process to find another nucleus, and then for it to split, and then for it to separate and get more. So just even the probability, odds, they keep saying, assumptions. And I'm reading the DOE handbook. I'm reading all these things. They gloss over. They'll really quickly say, well, the neutron has to, and then it'll find the nucleus, and then all this will happen. And it's like, wait a minute, hold up. There's all these steps that have to happen to get to that point. And to get to that point, it was just, so fast neutron, it goes 20,000 kilometers per second. It has to slow.
Hang on. Before you get into that, let me give an analogy right here. So you got to imagine what she's saying is basically the possibility of this one single time happening is less likely than you winning the lottery, or about likely as you winning the lottery. And we can think of somebody who had the cheat codes and he was only able to win the lottery fucking twice. This has to happen 80 fucking times. That was an Epstein shout out, by the way. That motherfucker won the lottery 2 times. And so it has to happen 80 fucking times. Can you imagine how many people you know in your life that have been playing the lottery their entire fucking life and never fucking won? 80 times, people. And it has to be boom, 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 instantaneous.
Yeah, nanoseconds. Yeah. So there are 2 options, though. In a nuclear power plant, in the nuclear facility, they have it's controlled. It's shielded. They can slow down those neutrons from when they're released. It's 20,000 kilometers per second. They have to slow it down to, it's called moderated, down to 2 kilometers per second. So 10,000 times it has to be slowed down. And that's when they use the graphite. That's when they use the water, and they use these moderators to slow down. So that's the first step to actually make this work. Then it has to be controlled and it has to be shielded. So if these neutrons are expelled, they hit the carbide, what is it? Carbide, something like that, whatever. There's the metal and stuff like that they have. It bounces off and comes back. And then there's more of a chance, if it's slowed down, then there's more of a chance with all the uranium atoms for 235 to find those. And then it just increases the chances, the odds, the probabilities. But even the fast neutron reactors, where they use the fast neutrons, there's only a 20% success rate. So even in a controlled environment, all that, when they have the best possible options, it still is only 20% chance. So now in a bomb, it's not shielded. It's not moderated. So you're still going 20,000 kilometers per second. It's not shielded, controlled, or moderated. And so you've got, if a bomb supposedly goes off with this, all those neutrons are just going to fly away. They're gone. That's it. So there's nothing to hold them back. There's nothing to it takes hours in a nuclear power plant for them to slow down the neutrons. You don't have that when a bomb's released. So that there's just so many levels to this that it's just like, nope, that can't work. Nope, that can't work.
Okay, so another question that I get asked a lot is about radiation and lasting radiation. And people are convinced that there's still not people living in these areas where supposed nuclear weapons were detonated. How do you explain that?
Okay, this is a personal experience secondhand from as a Crow 777 episode. He's done 5. The first one was with Jungle Surfer, so that one was the earliest one, and then he's done 4 other episodes on this. And one of his guests was a girl named May, and she was a daughter. Her mother was 12 years old during Nagasaki. Her grandmother worked at a Mitsubishi plant, and so they were there. Nagasaki, when the bomb went off, people heard B-29s going over. Something that's interesting is a lot of people saw possibly a photo flash bomb, and a lot of people reported that they never heard anything. So it could have been something like that. It's just a lot of people mention that, which is just odd. It's just a thing. So her mother was 12 years old at the time. She ended up having many children. Nobody had deformities. Nobody glowed. The grandmother never got sick. The mother was from blast overpressure. She was knocked unconscious. She lost her teeth and she was in the hospital, but she never got radiation sickness. The grandmother never got sick. She's never been sick. She's never been on medication. And the mother was gone for about a week, and then she had to move back to Nagasaki to work. She was a single mother. She had to work. And so they're drinking the water, they're eating the fish, they're eating the food, and they're back in there. Another just quick story is there's a gentleman on Sumatu, whatever, Yamaguchi, and he was in Hiroshima for that carpet bombing, probably napalm carpet bombing. But
does he have a descendant named Christina?
Yeah, I'm not funny. That's the only way I can remember his last name, Yamaguchi. But he ended up living till he was 93 and had kids, grandkids, all that. And he was in Hiroshima, was there within, they do kilometers, but like, within 2 kilometers, a mile, or whatever it was.
It's bullshit. They went right back to work.
Well, then he took a train, a working train, to Nagasaki after he had a hard night, the first night, and he was released, whatever, went to Nagasaki to go back to work. Boom, this is the next attack, whatever. So he survived both of them, and he didn't lose his hair, no radiation. I mean, it's just, when you hear of survivors, supposedly the wind is 980 miles an hour. 900, give me a break. I mean, what is the highest Category 5 hurricane? It's like, it starts at 157 miles. I mean, that's a lot, already for the hurricane Category 5. So 980 miles an hour. The heat, they said, steel melts at 1500 degrees Celsius. They said that the surface
9/11 shout out.
What's that?
I said 9/11 shout out.
Yeah. So the surface temperature was supposed to be 3,000 to 4,000 degrees Celsius. And then you've got pictures of that Jimbaku, whatever it's called, the dome. And you still see the metal, and it didn't melt. It was really close. They said it was so close under the hypocenter that it didn't melt. And it's like, that doesn't make any sense. And it wasn't even, it was like 600 yards, but I mean, still, I don't know. It's if it's supposed to be like a fireball for 5 miles and all this kind of stuff. I mean, it's just, the stories just don't match when you start looking into them. So first, there were survivors, the heat, the temperature, and
so
the radiation.
They bullshitted us. There are survivors. Tom, how validated do you feel right now?
I feel incredibly validated.
You were over there smiling. I thought you were about to jump in and go give us one of your famous Tom rants. Oh, what happened to Sierra? I was taking notes and I look up and she's gone.
I was just about to say something. I don't know if she's in the waiting room or not.
No.
That's happened.
I bet her phone died. It takes a lot out of your phone when you're using StreamYard.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you're watching, I'll look for you, and when you jump back in, I'll let you back in.
They tell us the story, and it's like I said, they told us a story. Oh, this is what happened. It went like this, and we just thought, why would they lie about us? Like why would they lie about this stuff? The government is like on our side. They want to make sure we're okay. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, what do you mean they made that up? Wait, what do you mean that's fake? Right? And like, that's like kind of like when the little baby wakes up and you're just like, we've all been there, right? So like, I've been that baby, like, realizing this is all we're being lied to here.
So I find it funny that it's like almost every country that has faked going to the moon is also the country that supposedly has the boogeyman nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
So are they all in on this same thing? And like,
one world government, bro.
Every single one of them in on it, It's like,
there's been a one world government for thousands of years. So yes, they're all in on it. Absolutely.
Hi, so sorry about that, guys. My phone freaking died. I knew it was getting close, and I don't have any of my outlets available at my desk, so I had to sit on my floor. I'm so sorry. I was really interested in what you were saying there, Tam, but that's crazy. He went to both, and he survived and didn't have any issues or anything. Just all the lies that we've been fed to be so fearful of these things.
Yeah, the trains were working. And also think about it, Japan at the time, they didn't have the internet. They didn't have the type of communication. So the people at the time, what they were hearing was what their government was telling them. What they were, what was being disseminated from there was what the government was saying. So we weren't hearing, on the ground, people, the reporters, talking to people and saying, this is what's happening right now. It was very controlled and very control, what was said when it was released. And there was supposedly, I won't say it, but there was one reporter who was questionable, who was getting out a lot of the information. So getting the information out.
You know what's crazy about this whole thing too is not crazy, but like once you start to like dissect this and be like, hang on, the nuclear weapons aren't even real. And then I tied in years ago, like all the countries that don't have nuclear weapons are the same ones that landed on the moon. And then you start thinking, okay, well, what about these countries like India or what was it, Thailand, that just came out with like the most Atari looking moon landing ever. And it's like, fuck you guys. We're going to be in the big club and we're going to fake a moon landing. And if you say that it's fake, then we're going to fucking call you out on it. You know, it's like, is it the same thing with the football? He's got the code to the football. You know, is it the same thing with the nuclear weapons? Is like, are there countries out there that legitimately don't know that nuclear weapons are a hoax, even their government is like dumb to this? Or is it just that one club and it's like, all right, you do what we say and you go along with this, then we'll be like, all right, now you're a superpower that's allowed to have nuclear weapons? Because doesn't anybody else find it weird that we're like, we have to go fucking kill those motherfuckers? They either have nuclear weapons or they're close to getting nuclear weapons. And then in the same breath of air, they'll be like, we can't fuck with China or Russia because they have nuclear weapons. It's make up your fucking mind. Are we crushing these motherfuckers or are we at fucking standstill with these people?
One of the funniest things was that it was the Daily Show, and Jon Stewart showed a time progression of Israel back in 2008, you know, or I guess it was even earlier than that, like 1995, and then, you know, 2000 and 2010 and 2015, 2018, whatever. And they were always, Iran was always weeks away from having nuclear capability or whatever like that. Yeah. The power lines and poles. Yes. When the heat, and he's talking about there are power lines, there's wood, all these things that would not have survived in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And the pictures, you can see the pictures, and there's no black. I keep thinking that if there was a mushroom cloud, it would suck up all the debris and dirt, and it would suck up so many. They should be like the crater and their Sedan crater and all these meteor craters. They all look the same. I mean, it's just so silly. But then when you see actual nukes supposedly deployed, there's no crater. It looks like carpet bombing. They look like Tokyo, Dresden, St. Petersburg in Russia. They all look exactly the same. And there was a guy, I get excited. Okay. Alexander P. Desiversky. He did his whole job was to do aerial reconnaissance and comparisons of all the different, like he looked at Tokyo, he looked at Dresden, he had pictures of St. Petersburg, he flew over, he was a Russian pilot, just amazing. But then he came over to the American side, he was a pilot, he lost a leg and he kept going and stuff, but he totally legit, and this was his job, and he was looking for the differences. He went over Hiroshima and Nagasaki. He wrote a whole book, and he couldn't find any differences. There wasn't a hypocenter. There wasn't anything that was stand out. He was expecting all these he was excited. He said he was keyed up because as anyone would, you know, if that was his whole job, that's what he was looking forward to, and didn't see anything. And then in September, so it was about a month later, he did a couple days on the ground and didn't see anything different. And have you seen those nuclear shadows? You know, little girl jumping rope and little kid playing with his truck and the old man with his cane and all this kind of stuff. And they're like pieces like. They're silly. There's so many reasons that they're silly, but he never saw anything like that. And then magically they appeared afterwards, and then they were gone in November. I think in October they had these nuclear shadows, and then they were gone. So it's just more of the
absurdity of it all.
It is, and it gets funny. And the people, there's Miles Mathis, there's a guy, Anders Bjorkman. I watched, this is a guy, he was on Crow 777, Dr. Michael Palmer, and they've become friends. They send me things and they share things. And then one of my favorites is this guy, Thus Judge. And he's the one who explained, I just got notes and notes and notes and just everywhere, just unbelievable amount of notes. I went through this probably 10 times. And just he's the one who explained the physics of it, and fission's division, fusion. He said adds confusion. If fission doesn't work, you can't have fusion. You can't have the hydrogen bombs. You can't have thermonuclear devices because the fission's not going to. It's not going to produce the heat, whatever. So they're probably just big hydrogen bombs, and which is fine. That's scary, but they're not. It's not the nuclear stuff that they make it sound like everything's going to be. What was I going to say about him? The biggest thing.
Doesn't it seem like they would have energy weapons that could fuck off a nuclear weapon?
That could trigger it?
No, I mean like direct energy weapons and our advanced weapons that we supposedly have, and like if we want to talk about the Maui fires and shit like that, or
the blue tarps, the blue covers, the blue roofs.
when we had our mission and we kidnapped the president of Venezuela and his wife, and supposedly like 150 or 250 men were just taken out by some sonic fucking wave compression, shit like that, right? So if we have shit like that, which is actually probable and more logically provable that we do have that kind of shit, then why wouldn't we just flex behind that kind of shit rather than a fucking boogeyman that somebody could call out that has, enough of a brain like you to be like, well, let's see how this shit works. Like, if you can go in there and say like, well, the way that they tell us this works is bullshit. I also want to like play devil's advocate and be like, well, yeah, because they're not going to tell you how it actually works, or else every single country would have this shit, right? So where do we go from here?
All about the boogeyman, though. That's the whole point of it. They want it to be a fake boogeyman. It's always a fake boogeyman. And yes, they could always replicate and do something of like whatever they're trying to do. They could a hydrogen bomb, right? They could do that. But the thing of it, the ritual is that it's a boogeyman. Like that, it's the slap in the face that it can't. It's always got to be fake. It's the ultimate slap in the face.
That was the same thing with the jab, right? I mean, the fear and people turning on each other, and that was just.
I'm telling you, they're laughing at us. When I say they're laughing at us, they're laughing. They really are. They're having fun with it.
One other thing that was super obvious is Chernobyl. When there was no explosion, there was a meltdown, which just heat and stuff, which it was. Even the guy 3 Mile Island, that guy Galen Windsor, he actually toured 3 Mile Island, and he said it was staged, it was planned, it came out. I think it was 16 days, after the China Syndrome movie was released. Within about 2 weeks, then they had the 3 Mile Island, where it was supposed to burn all the way through the core, all the way to the China or something like that. It was just the dumbest premise. Jane Fonda, all that movie and everything. But Chernobyl, so that was in 86. They give tours inside reactor 4. They give tours, daily tours. No extra protection, no any kind of special anything, and You're there for 4.5 hours, and no problems, no radiation, no sickness, no anything. And it's like the half-life that they tell you is supposed to be, deadly for thousands of years and all that. So, and the one thing, I don't mean to keep jumping, but the one thing about these guys, every single one of them they're incredibly sarcastic, because you get to the point, and Tom, this is Tom in a nutshell, is you get to the point that it's so stupid, you can't keep a straight face. You can't validate it at all. You can't. It's just so beyond. But okay, I'm jumping around too. Sorry, Kat, but you had asked about, do they all know? I had a secret clearance for DOD. I had a top secret clearance for Department of Justice. I worked at Department of Energy. I had a Q clearance, and I was all in with the nukes. That was my baby. I ran the training at Nevada Test Site for the emergency responders from Department of Justice. I was a curriculum coordinator. I was responsible for that. And so, does everyone know? I was devastated from watching Kat, 20 years later. And I'm just like, what? How could this possibly be?
But your life wasn't a lie, because now you took that knowledge and you were able to put it and apply it, and now you have these amazing books, and you just keep pumping out like incredible books too. So it's not like you're just a one dynamic like Nukes or a Hoax. It's like you cover the board with all of the good stuff that truly matter, you know. And you know, Tom, I had her go on and talk to her. I had a roundtable show. And do you remember that conspiracy show that we went on? You don't have to say the name of it, but we were on this conspiracy show, and Tam actually talked to one of those guys. He was on a panel that I was having and still couldn't convince him that he had the person, and still couldn't convince him that nukes are a hoax. So it's like the cognitive dissonance is
my parents, it's devastating. It's like, come on. I mean, I knew it from one side, and now I'm like, no, I really understand this. I'm explaining it to you. And I use cartoons. I use fruit. I use all these golf analogies, like that 20,000 kilometers per second. It doesn't matter if you have 1,000 on a green. If you hit like a 3-wood from the green, you're not going to get that ball in the hole from the green. If you're teeing off on the green, there's no way it's going too fast. They say, well, add more holes, add more uranium-235. You can have 1,000 holes. If they're flying by at 20,000 kilometers per second, they're still not going to land in the holes. As many holes as you want. It's too fast. You can't, when you're putting, you have to go slowly, and it'll go in the cup. But you can't go at 20,000 kilometers per second and hit in the hole in the green. So I try and use golf. My dad played golf, so I tried to use golf analogies. I tried to use, different things. It looks cartoony, and I understand that. But I keep thinking of Tom. It's just like, you got to laugh because it's just so stupid.
It is. And the reason why they always use something fake is because it's easier to control people with something that's fake than something that's real.
That's true, because if it's real, then somebody could figure it out. And then once they figured it out, they would figure out how to make it not as scary.
Yeah. The only way to figure this out is to realize that it's fake.
And I'm not suicidal. I'm not trying to, I'm not having any mental issues or anything. So if I disappear, it's like, but it's worth it. I mean, the thing is, that's what I was so impressed with Catalyst when I first met him, is that he stuck his neck out with all these ideas. And I'm not frightened for him, but I was frightened for him because he covers all these topics. And he was exposing so much. And, a lot of guys, all you guys do this. So, I mean, it's not just Catalyst, but for me, there's the connection. And it was like, just, be careful, but thank you. And I appreciate, and where else am I going to hear it from? And I keep thinking, if I don't do this, I'm so glad, from all these guys who took the time and research and comedy and explained it. And it's like, oh, it's so easy. And then I do it with the poems. I try and make it entertaining and fun and light. It's a hard subject, but yeah, for me, it was gut wrenching to think about. I felt so stupid. I felt, how could I have been so naive? But everything that I heard was working with nuclear physicists. They're basically the chemists. They were just, they can make big bombs. Yay. And, they do the test, Yucca Flats and Frenchman's Flat, and we were Phoenix, all these places at Nevada. We worked at, that's where I met my husband, was at the Nevada test site. I was working for DOE there. So I was all in. I didn't know.
Hey, I'm a mortgage broker. That's my matrix job. And I was a mortgage broker for 20 some years until I realized mortgages were fake. And I can tell you that nobody knows.
Is the bank allowed to lend their own money?
None of them know the truth about any. I'm not even going to get into that, but none of them know the truth about it. There's probably, so many mortgage people, maybe a handful, that actually know that they're all fake. So it's like, hey, we all got fooled. Everybody got fooled. Nobody on earth did not get fooled. Everybody got fooled. So
how many lawyers studied, failed, and dedicated trying to pass that bar so that they can become a lawyer? How many
British
of them
accreditation registry?
Yeah, a fake lawyer that doesn't even practice law, that practices at law, which means near the law. All that school, all that to practice some fucking fake bullshit. How about that?
Yeah,
Right
we gotta somebody
right
in
up
the
your ass.
I didn't see what part of the conversation this came in, but this is why they're buying up and destroying all the old books. And, you know, I think it's great. People are going on eBay, and anybody that has the means to do this, I wish I had the means to do this, but like, go find these older encyclopedias, dictionaries, or anything that has this type of information that they are going to try to hide. Because seriously, that own nothing and like it, like, we're damn near already there, you guys. Everything we do is through a subscription, and they could take it all away. I was just talking to a buddy of mine, and we went to the Punk Rock Museum, and he pulled up his digital catalog of his actual physical copies. And he's like, I have to own the physical copies, you know, because like, how many times have you built up, or at least me, because I'm a poor motherfucker, and sometimes I'm doing okay and sometimes I'm not doing okay. And I'm like, all right, well, I don't need my Apple Music subscription, right? So it's like, fuck, now I can't listen to music. Whereas back in the day, I had a book that had CDs. And before that, I had cassette, because when I started driving, I wasn't cool enough to have a DVD or a CD player in my car. I had a fucking cassette player. And so I wish I had those things. And, you know, like, while we can buy those things, let's do that, you know, especially these books that have this knowledge, because once it's all digitally there, all they have to do is wipe it away and make it whatever they want. And they're already slowly doing that, because they change these books. If you look at if you could get your hands on an entire set Encyclopedia Britannica, like one of the first editions that they ever did, oh my God, you're rich. You're more rich than anybody. And I'm not saying money wise, I'm saying the knowledge that you have that's unfucked with, or at least the tainted knowledge that they gave us from the beginning before they started tainting that knowledge. But we're coming up here. We're rounding the corner. We've already been going past our due time, but I mean, I love these conversations. I love it when we can get an actual expert on and be like, look, I had Q clearance in the Department of Justice. I did this, and this, and I wrote the book. She literally wrote the book. So you're hearing it right now. And so if you guys want to, where can they go get this book?
Oh, thank you, Catalyst. On Amazon, if you just look up my last name, Chevill, Sheville, then it's got all the books. That's the easiest way. And if you don't want to buy the books, everything's on Instagram. Absolutely everything. It starts with my very first book at the beginning. And as I was learning, I just would do poems. I could take all the information and try and hold on to it and do it in a way that I could understand it. And then I just keep building. So if you go back to the very beginning, this is my first book, second book, third book, and it has different backgrounds. It's really easy to delineate, and it's free. But it's just like Catalyst, it's just getting the information out. And that's the biggest.
I love that about you too. So it's like, you're not gatekeeping the information. And so if you can support her, absolutely, please go buy it. And like I said, have a physical copy of that. But if you're not doing good and you really want this information and the stuff that she's doing, the books that she's written, from Flat Earth to the Hacking Hoaxes, is another actual title that you go under. So if you want Level Playing Poem, is actually a completely separate page to Hacking Hoaxes, but they're all right there. If you can't afford it, she's got it for you. You can actually go there. She narrates it. It's done. It's straight from her book. So please do go check that out. But if you can't afford it, please go and support her and buy physical copies. You came, you crushed it. You always have an open seat on White Rabbit and here on Trinity of Truth. I love you so much. Guys, before we jump out of here and before we plug away, is there any questions that you had about nukes or for TAM in general?
I mean, I have to get in it and start reading about it so I can understand it a little bit more. It was so awesome to hear you talk about it a little bit tonight, because it started opening my mind up to a little bit. You know, I didn't know the science behind it, and I was so excited. I told Kat like a few weeks back, we have to have her on. I need her to come on this show. And I'm so glad that you did, because this is so interesting to me. And I talk to people about this all the time, you know, nukes not being real, but I don't have that information to really back up my argument. And so so awesome to, have you and all of the work that you've done. Just really grateful for it, and so happy that you were able to come on the show tonight. You have always been so, so cool. And this was just such a great show and so fascinating.
Thank you. It's so nice to meet you. It's so cool to be on this side. That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. It was great. Thanks for sharing all the info.
Thanks for all the laughs, Tom. You keep me. His sarcasm. I just love how he just takes it and just makes it obvious and stupid. And it's like, yes, very good. Thank you. And Catalyst, I adore you. You're one of my favorite people in the whole world ever. And I put that in the book. So I have said that forever. And he was the first time I ever did an on-camera interview. And I was a mess. And he was so sweet and so supportive and just made me feel comfortable. And so it's got to be 3 years later, right, Kat?
Yes. I mean, and we've both made so many connections throughout the years too. I mean, you've come such a long way. You've put out so many books. You're going on like really cool shows. You got to become friends with Brandon and like
Brandon Thomas, Mysterious Universe, and Chris Matthew from Forbidden Knowledge News, and Chance Garton. He's awesome from Interverse. And if I can do a shameless plug, Nathan Oakley has a new book out, and it's just an ebook. It's $14.97, and it's on booksonline.com. And just look up Nathan Oakley, and it's just, he lays it out about the flat earth stuff. That's kind of jumping a little bit, but it's irrefutable the way he does it. Every measurement is from a horizontal plane of reference, and he takes any argument and
she's cutting out on us. Dang it. But so go check that out. She was plugging away for Nathan Oakley.
I can hear.
You're still here.
Yeah, I can hear fine.
Yeah.
Oh, it's me.
Sorry.
She went away on my screen completely.
Nope.
No, she was here the whole time.
I'm sorry, Tam. Did I interrupt you?
Nope. I'm done. That's all. But just a little shameless plug.
Yeah, so I hope that everybody took away from this episode. Basically, you don't have to be scared because this is another boogeyman that they're holding over our head. And are they going to have another great reset? I don't know. Maybe. Could they? Yeah. But I think that we just need to harness what we can control. And I know I say that every episode, but we can only control what we control. The whole thing is, like Tom said, man, like if they can get you to believe in some nonsense and control you with it, then that's how they're going to control you. Like one of the reasons I get so upset with people, because they're like, and this is with the flat earth thing, is people will say, well, it doesn't make any difference because tomorrow I have to get up and go to work. Well, it makes the biggest fucking difference, because if everybody woke up tomorrow and knew that they've been lying to us and the secrets that they've been keeping, then we would push forward to know what was beyond that land. What else have they been hiding from us? And why the fuck would you get up and go to work? Why the fuck would you get up and go to work if we all woke up and found out that they've been lying to us about all this shit, right? So, like, that's why the lie? Why the lie? Well, why the lie is because they're fucking controlling every aspect of your life with that one fucking lie. That one lie. Flat Earth is the master key that unlocks all conspiracy. I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Trinity of Truth. Please go check out my new shit. I got some dope ass guests coming up on my show. I got Jules from the Grey Pilled, Sean Chris from Kill the Mockingbirds. We got I got guests flying out to be in person. We got Brian McGinnis and William Asfors flying out this weekend. They're going to be on the show. We got Adam Weissop is doing something with me. That's actually not going to be until January, but we're possibly doing an episode actually sooner. So I don't want to say anything, but upcoming huge guest, guys, is going to be really fucking fun. And as always, not as always, Sierra, you're back on Instagram. So if you guys want to go, those links that I've had in the past, and if you're listening to this, those links to her Instagram are still going to work. You guys want to plug anything before I jump out of here?
No, I'm just taking it easy.
Be a good person, be good, do good, put out some good vibes. That's it.
Damn
yeah,
right.
hell yeah. Easy. Thank you guys for jumping in the chat again. And Anna, if you're listening to this, praying that everything is good for you. So we are out of here. That's another episode. That's number 19, guys. Trinity of Truth. We out this bitch.
Trinity of Truth. They call us proof. The strange, the weird, the odd, the real. Tom Zames, Divinely Sierra, and Catalyst Jones.